Hey everybody, we're going to go over a few drawings that are going to be on a test next week that you'll have to answer some questions on. And these drawings will be available for you to download on Canvas. They may not be the exact versions of the ones that you'll have on the test, but they'll be very, very similar. So on one of these, for question one as an example, you're going to be required to fill in the dimensions for items A through E. Here's A up here. So we'll just, for sake of communication, we'll call this the top view up here. This is the front view, and this is the right side. So this dimension up here on A, looking on the top view, is shown right here. If I was to draw an imaginary line straight down from this edge where the cursor is at, down there you'll see this lines up. Okay, so with orthographic projection, in most cases, the views will be lined up somewhat. Notice if I just draw a straight line from this right across, here's another view of that same object that sticks out, which in the isometric view is this piece right here. So in that case, A is here would be 1 inch. Okay. D is this same object going from here to here, and you'll notice over here it shows 1/2 inch. Go to letter B right here, that's the distance from this front corner back to the edge of this right here. This object is this piece on the isometric view. That dimension is not shown in the isometric view, and it's not typical to dimension isometric views. However, this object line represents this circle that we can view if we're looking over here from the right side. So the dimension from the front corner right here back to the front edge of that circle right here is 1.5 inches. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit of an understanding on what you would need to do when you answer these questions. Okay, I'm not going to go through every one of them, and there are different views, different numbers on them. But we're going to go on to the next question. This question right here requires you to identify each edge shown in the isometric view on at least one of the orthographic views. And then number 2, draw the dimensions shown in one view on at least one other view. So all you have to do is pick the edges out and find a view that represents that edge. Okay. So we'll call this our front view right now, just for, again, sakes of communication, which is going to be this surface right here. So there I am, edge A. If I was standing right here where the cursor is at, looking this direction, what I would see is this view right here. Therefore, edge A is right here. If I was looking from the bottom of the piece, up here looking up, since this is the front, this is the top, this is the bottom, then edge C is going to be right here. Okay. This edge right here, the dotted line going across, which is a hidden line in the isometric view, it's going to be this line right here. Or it could also be this line up here. It could also be this line right here. This face right here is this face right here. This rectangle right here is this rectangle up here. So this is my front view, this is my top view, this is my side view. So the one dimension that's shown in this one is right here. That's the distance back. It's in the top view from this edge looking straight down. That's going to be the first edge there that you can see is edge B. So you'd have to just find a place where you could put that dimension also. So that's for question number 2. There's different versions of it. And then for question 3, we've got a small fabricated item with some welding symbols on it and just a couple of dimensions. And what I want you to do is draw or shade in the weld for question 1, for number 1, wherever this weld is shown. But I want you to put that weld on another view. So that weld could show up in one of these other two views. I don't want you to put a welding symbol for it. I want you can just pencil it in, draw where the weld is going to go. Same thing goes for number 2. Draw our shade in the weld in another view. So this weld would show on one of these other pieces. Number 3 is going to be fill in the dimensions. The dimension's shown somewhere else, or you may have to do a little math and figure out what this dimension number 3 is. Same thing goes for dimension number 4. And again, a couple other versions of that. Hopefully that helps you out just a little bit. I'll open up one of the drawings. I know what I just did. Or just open up something just to kind of get a little bit more practice if you want to. Some of you may not even look at this video, and that's fine too. So anyway, here's a 3D object, a solid object. My front view is going to look like this. My right side looks like that. My back side looks like that. Back around to the left side. Here we are to the front. Again, there's my isometric view that we're going to use in most cases. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a drawing so you can see how this drawing develops and see if that will help you. We're going to go ahead and put our front view in first. I'm going to change the scale to 1 by 1 to 1.5. I'm going to go ahead and remove all this title block stuff just so you can see how all these views are related to each other. Put this kind of in the middle. So we're going to call this my front view. I'm going to add another view. That's my parent. If I go up, we'll call that the top view. We'll go down here, it's going to be the bottom view. We'll go over here, it's going to be the left side view. Go over here, it's going to be the right side view. I'll go ahead and put in one isometric view. Let's look at the way that we showed it in the model. So in most cases, you don't need this many views to get all of the information that you need about an object. It depends on how complicated the object is. In this case, we've got a pretty simple object, except there are a few details on it. But having that understanding that where these edges line up, again, if I was to draw a straight line from this hidden line, straight up to here, it lines up with that hole. Straight up there, it lines up with that hole. Okay. Now, there are a few occasions when people make a drawing where they will have a front view and they make a side view and they'll put it in a different location on the drawing. Or sometimes they'll do a cut section view where you actually cut a piece of it out. Or they'll make it what's called a detailed view. So we'll go ahead and insert a view that is a detail. So there's a blown up detail of what I've got inside this circle right here. And it's been properly scaled. If I was to put some dimensions on it, and the way that it's annotated or shown is this text down here says detail A, scale 1 to 1. So this actual part here is full scale. This detail is 1 to 1.5. But you'll notice there's my 1 inch dimension there. If I was to draw the dimension over here, it's also going to be 1 inch. So that's one type of auxiliary view besides your regular orthographic projection. Here we're going to do what's called a section view. So I'm going to select the section view tool here, not really here to show you how to. You can go right here, you can go right here. We're going to pick which way it's looking. So if my arrows point that way, I'm looking in that direction. My arrows point that way, I'm looking in that direction. We're going to put the arrows in this way. And we'll put the view over here. So if you notice, this view looks a lot like this view, except for this hidden line is now solid. The other hidden lines are hidden, they're not shown. The reason for that is in a section view, the cut section is what's visible. So these lines here, these diagonal lines, represent a solid surface. That's an example of a section view and a detail view. And hopefully that helps you a little bit. If you made it this far, it's good that you're interested. Again, as a welder, sometimes this may come in handy, sometimes it may not. But having that ability to have some understanding of orthographic projection, reading drawings, understanding how the drawings work, pretty good skill to have overall, I think. Much more to it than what we've touched on, and we're going to go into it a little bit deeper. We'll start talking about title blocks and scaling the drawing maybe, and maybe try to do a little bit more fabrication of something. The project that you guys did last week where you took the pieces, we're probably going to do something different. I'm trying to come up with something that's practical that we can build. Y'all have a great weekend or a great day, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.